Well, I've shown you how to draw a tree, and I've shown you how to draw a fir tree, and today I'm going to show you how to draw a scary tree. So you're going to need a pencil and a pen and an eraser, and I'll just make a mark there, and I'll make a mark there so I know where this fits on the camera, so I can try and fit it all in. I'm going to have kind of the top of the hill, kind of like that. Okay, so I'm going to want the tree kind of coming like that, and then it's going to want his arms coming out sideways. Okay, and then the top of the tree is going to look really kind of angry. And you know how trees, they sort of chop the branches off and they have those hollow bits, don't they? So it's going to be a bit like, that's what those bits are. And then we're going to want to make him look really kind of scary as well. So he's kind of got a hole in his trunk there as well, and we want him to be kind of okay. So these branches are going to go, those are going to be his thumbs there. Now imagine there's kind of a knot there, and his fingers will go up and down like that. Okay, so we want these to look like scary branches. Is that still on? Yeah, still fits the camera. So that's going to look like it wants to fit. These are going to be scary branches. So that's going to want to go in off there, kind of like that. Okay, and because we want him kind of, his kind of clawed look, don't we, to like he's coming at you. And then you can have one going behind there. So when you have things going behind, it just makes it look a bit more sophisticated, really, rather than just a, you know, in any old drawing, doesn't it? So so this can be kind of, it's been blasted by thunder and lightning, and so we're going to want other branches coming out like that with a few leaves on the top. As it's coming unstuck, there we go. A few leaves, things like that. Good. So now I can use my pen, and I'm gonna start with this part here around the eyes. And I think we've been talking a lot about shading just recently on you're in a drawing school, and I think I might get to do a bit of shading on this one. So there's going to be kind of holes in the trunk, isn't it? And if we do these bits first, then there's a kind of a gap. You know, it's a hollow tree trunk, isn't it? So this is kind of the wood of the tree. You know, the bark, isn't it? So if we leave a bit white, so that will give you kind of the thickness of the bark of the tree. Do you know what I'm on about? I'm not sure I do. These white bits kind of give you a feeling for the thickness of the tree, and then I think you can be quite sort of wobbly with your lines as you come down, and then this will be the roots. And then if you do some lines like that, that will look like it's kind of grass coming up to, and then you can do another root coming up there, and another root coming down there, and then maybe another root which kind of separates there. That kind of looks about right. Right, that will then come up, and I think we might, before you draw the top in, I think we might just kind of go like that, put that one into there, so this can come up, and then that kind of appears to come from behind. Can you see that by having that line down in front of it? And then this does want to kind of look like a, not just a thumb, but it's got to look a bit like a branch as well. So you make this look like a knobbly old branch like that, and then the next one comes out there as well. And you can make it, try and make it look knobbly. I don't have an awful lot of time for this video, so I'm just doing it very quickly, really. Something like that, and then you're going to want a bit of shading where the one goes over the other like that, just to kind of separate them out a bit. Again here, there's the thumb, and there's the one finger. And you could maybe, you could put little leaves on the end of those fingers if you really want, I suppose. I'm changing my plan. I'm kind of doing what feels right, and then that will kind of come up there, and that will probably want to split into two there, and that will want to split up there. I think if you put these kind of branches splitting out, it just makes it look more interesting. It's more difficult to keep control of what's going on, but it just makes it look more interesting. And then you can put sort of leaves up at the top like that, and there we have a scary monster tree. And when all the ink is dry, and as I will keep saying again and again, I use a permanent pen which dries very quickly, but if you're using Indian ink or something like that, do make sure it's dry before you rub out the pencils, because you'll be really upset. Now, how can we make this look a bit more tree-like? By shading. Now, if we think there's kind of a light coming from above here, if we have it kind of a moonlight, woohoo, coming from up there, then that would be a little bit coming there as well. But there's going to be quite a lot more underneath it, kind of like that. And then you also want a kind of a tree bark kind of pattern. So if you had these kind of lines coming, well, you put the lights back on. That was a bit weird. I just ran out of memory cards, so I just had to download everything to make some room. Right, so where was I? This is about no, about 10-15 minutes later now. So I was talking about shading, and again, if the moonlight's coming this way, you're going to want the shading all on the opposite branches of where the moon light would go, so the moon will kind of shimmer off the top of the branch, won't it? And this will be in the shadow. Now here, this is where the root comes out. You can make that quite dark there and bring that up, and by making that quite dark, that highlights the mouth part there as well. And we're kind of curving the line as I'm going. Can you see that I'm doing a kind of a curve? That kind of helps give a bit of shape to the branch. We've got another one behind there. You know, I don't have long, so you can spend a lot of time doing the pencil drawing and planning all this bit part out. And there'll be a line coming down there, probably there as well. And this will be quite shaded there. And in fact, the ground will be quite shaded here. And you get a bit of modelling on the tree trunk. See that the light will be catching the top of that root, so you want the bottom shaded there, and the moonlight will be catching the top of this root here as well, but then the ground will be shaded by the root. So you just have to kind of try and think in 3 dimensions, I suppose, when it comes to shading. And again, the underneath will be shaded from the moon. And I always think which bit is furthest away from the light source, and you can make that bit dark. And I'm trying to give these lines kind of slight curve to these little lines, which just gives a bit of extra kind of modelling to make it look kind of round and branch like. That's kind of basically it, isn't it? So if we put some kind of movement lines in there, and then these will be leaves. You can put a leaf pattern. I haven't got time to put leaf patterns in. There we go. And so the moon will be up there, and there'll be some stars, and if you had time you could paint in the background all kind of really dark, and that will really bring it forward. Did I show you the book it came from? No, I haven't got it here. Let's start all over again. Here we are. You see, this is the one that I did, and from the Little Horrors, the Sandman. And I've actually gone and done quite a lot in Photoshop on afterwards, and putting these kind of rays of light and stuff on there. But you can see how the dark sky then kind of brings the moonlight reflections up forward on it. So, okay, I think that's all I can do for the moment. Have a happy Halloween, and keep coming back to the Shu Rayner Drawing channel. That's Shu Rayner Drawing on YouTube, and Shu Rayner. Keep coming back to the Shu Rayner Drawing School. That's Shu Rayner Drawing on YouTube, and go to shu-tube.com, which is my own website, where you will be able to get all these videos through to your school whiteboards and things like that. I know YouTube gets banned a lot, doesn't it? So, see you next time, and in the meantime, keep practicing, practicing, practicing.